Okay. So on your belly, if that is in fact where you are, take a moment to really feel into if this is the space that you want to occupy for the next couple of minutes. And prop it any way that you want, maybe like your blanket or your bolster under the tops of your feet. Might take a little pressure off of your back. And settle into where you're going to be. Allow your forehead to be heavy on your hand or on the mat, or maybe your head is turned to the side. And we begin that process of turning in. When we turn inward, we find this stillness. This place in our being that's always calm, always serene. That can't be ruffled or disrupted by anything that's happening outside of us. And the more we come to this place, the more we can come to this place. And we can access it maybe in times off of our mats. If we make the mistake of scrolling through the news or being in public ever. So the more we can practice it here, the more we can kind of find it when we really need it. And noticing if your breath has slowed all by itself. If maybe you're able to pull in a deeper breath all the way down to your belly. And see if that allows you and your muscles and your nervous system and the rest of your body to settle down for the next few breaths. Take one more exhale. And start to slide up onto your elbows. Let your elbows stay really wide rather than sort of bringing them under your shoulders for a sphinx. Let them sit wider than your shoulders and maybe a little bit in front of your shoulders, where we find this gentle opening. And if it still feels like a lot of pressure on your low spine, keep moving your elbows forward and come to a place where you have a little lift in the shoulders, but it's this nice even curve through your spine where there's no place that really feels like it's taking the brunt of what's happening in this curve. Just this nice smooth arc where we start to find a little bit of opening, a little bit of hope in your chest, in your belly, but not too much, just a glimmer. And a couple breaths here. And slide your hands under your shoulders for the purposes of peeling yourself up and onto your knees. And right into seated. And for our breath practice today, instead of alternate nostril breathing, we will breathe only into and out of the left side, this Ida side, Ida Nadi, which brings us coolness, the lunar energy, softness, darkness, sereneness, that calm, that yin side of our energy body. And we'll keep it that way. And then in terms of what you do with, I don't know which hand you use for Nadi Shodhana. I use my right. So if your left hand is the one that's on your lap, you can decide whether you want to keep your palm up to sort of receive, or if you want to keep it down to further ground your energy. Whatever you decide to do with that, let your thumb rest on the outside, on the right side of your nose, and just gently press to block the flow of air there. And if you want to, bring your middle finger or all of your fingers that will touch up to your third eye center, this place of wisdom in our bodies. And if that feels too claustrophobic, just let your fingers float in front of your forehead. Let your thumb rest on the outside of your nose on the right. And start a slow breath into and out of the left side of your nose. For whatever reason, I just can't bring myself to use the word nostril and be okay with it. So I have to find other ways of saying that. Just take a few breaths to allow that flow to feel a little more natural. And if there's any time you can't feel your breath or you just need more, release your thumb for a few breaths and then maybe return to the left side when you're ready. If you started that flow and it seems nice and easy, starting to increase the length and depth of your breath on the left side. Two more breaths, just like that. Letting your hand come back down finding breath on both sides. Kind of re-energizing that right side. Bringing it a little bit of yang energy. Let your chin fall to your chest. Keep your chin down and roll left ear toward left shoulder. And as soon as you get there, roll back down to center and over to the right. Just finding some nice slow tick-tocks from left to right. Just sweeping arc. Moving with your breath, taking your time. Next time you're down in the middle, come back into center and let your head dip back. And let your teeth find each other. And come back into center. Find both of your blocks or whatever you usually use to support legs in reclined bound angle, and a bolster or a folded blanket. So either blanket or bolster right into your sacrum here. And a block or a rolled up blanket on either side. Maybe bring, I always say palms of the feet. Bring the soles of your feet together and set your blocks up first. And this doesn't have to be this huge, big opening in your hips and inner thighs. You can support legs so that the inner thigh muscles can relax without stretching very much. So I kind of support mine pretty high up. It allows these muscles to soften and not do any work at all, but also totally up to you what sensation you're going for. So rolling down onto your bolster once your legs are supported, and then maybe if you have an extra blanket, tucking it in behind your head. And finding the place where your arms are the most comfortable. So same deal like with the legs. It doesn't have to be the most giant, heart-opening, stretching thing in the world. You have arms sort of angled out, but closer to the bottom than the top. It maybe just feels a little more comfortable. This little gentle step into openness and hopefulness. We can kind of passively coax the heart open. And just start to allow your breath to lengthen. And each exhale, settling into a little bit more softness, acceptance, place that I struggle when we're in a posture like this, and kind of what it's symbolic for, being open, being accepting, surrendering to the flow. Do we want that? Like, is that the goal right now? What are we meant to be doing energetically? Are we meant to be only turning inward right now and only focusing on gathering strength? Or can we kind of dip in and out of both of the places and try to find a little bit of balance? Are we more sure-footed that way when we're open and protecting ourselves? I don't know the answer to that, but this is what I think of when I'm in a posture like this, and I really feel like curling up into a ball instead. I don't know which one I'm supposed to be doing. And then the default to all of these is to the breath. Being mindful of it, being aware of it, keeping it even and steady. Two more breaths right here where you are. Slowly, slowly make your way onto an elbow. Come to seated. Move your blocks. Move your bolster. And option to bring that bolster with you and have the exact same shape in your spine and in your chest when we come into. It's not going to be a full legs up the wall. It's a more of, we're further away from the wall, where we kind of have feet planted. And up to you, but it's about, like, if you have your toes against the wall and you scooch your rear end closer to your heels and lay down, bring your legs up so they're at an angle. A couple different ways you can do the feet. Your feet might stay on the wall without really needing to hold them up if you kind of keep them flat so that knees are bent. You're still getting this elevation in the legs. You're still having all the benefits of legs up the wall without having to like wiggle walk your way all the way up. You can always wrap your strap around your feet or bring feet closer together. If the strap just feels too restrictive, you can also check it out and see what it's like to just put heels on the wall. Legs might turn out to the side, and that might be a little bit pressureful, is that a word, on your knees. So take a moment and decide how you want that to be for your feet and legs. And if you wanted to slide your bolster back where it was along the spine, totally do that. Take a second to figure out where you want that to be. Let arms fall down by your sides. And let your breath come. And allowing that space on either side of your sacrum to relax that SI joint. When we hold tension, we can kind of, I don't know, you can always feel it in your jaw, in your shoulders, in your belly. It seems like we hold it way down in our pelvis too, and that's the last thing we notice. Like, oh, there's still some there. Even if we've kind of worked out everything above it, it still kind of sits in those nooks and crannies of the pelvis. So allowing your exhales to just kind of let that whole area spread out. Two more breaths where you are. You have space. Let your feet come right down flat to the mat, or scooch away a little bit so that you can. And let knees fall gently side to side. Pull your knees into your chest. Move legs around wherever that feels good. Pushing them away, circling them together or separately. And bring your feet back down. Hop your hips to the right. Pull your knees over your hips and come into a twist over toward the left, just for one big breath. And roll back to your back. Slide your hips to the center and then off to the left. Knees up over the hips. Let your knees fall to the right. One big breath. Come back into center. And then kind of do that little worm walk away from the wall, so that you can find yourself all the way out in Shavasana. If you want to use your bolster under your knees, that might feel nice. However you want to be, that is still your choice at the moment. Intentionally drawing in deep breath. Start to roll to your side. And when you're ready, find seated. Send your arms out and up and inhale. And pull hands into heart center. Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. May my words, thoughts, actions, and intention contribute to their happiness and freedom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace,